I found out my brother married my ex through Instagram, then learned my family used my money for it. Hi, I'm Mason, 35, and last month I learned my brother got married through Instagram, not through an invite, a call, or even a passive-aggressive group text. No, a lakeside wedding with lanterns, matching suits, a literal swan in the background, and I wasn't there. It was a Thursday morning. I just finished debugging a client's nightmare JavaScript loop when I took a break and opened Instagram. First photo that popped up? My brother, Eli, standing at the altar in a navy suit next to a woman in white. Caption: The Hawthorne Wedding, magic under the stars. My thumb froze. I blinked. Refreshed. New photos kept loading like a slideshow of betrayal. My parents, smiling like they just won the lottery. My uncle Richard, who I didn't even know was still alive, grinning over champagne. My cousins from Nova Scotia. Even Aunt Claire, who once said she wouldn't cross the street for Eli, was there in floral heels. Not me. Not a seat. Not a whisper. Not a damn clue. I kept scrolling. The cake, the toasts, a drone shot over the lake. I'd recognize the place anywhere. It was our family's summer home in Vermont. The same one I was told needed serious repairs and was off-limits for now. And right there in one of the wider shots, my ex Natalie, laughing, in a slate blue dress, standing next to my brother, his hand on her lower back like it had always belonged there. It didn't feel real. I closed the app, opened it again. Still there. The last text I'd gotten from Eli was 6 months ago. A meme about that terrible action movie we used to mock watch growing up. I'd replied with a laughing emoji. That was it. No save the date. No. Hey bro, just a heads up, I'm marrying the woman you once called your future. Nothing. I didn't call him. I didn't text. I just sat there with a hollow thud building in my chest. 4 days later, I got a message from Dad. Eli's hurt you haven't reached out. He was hoping you'd at least say congratulations. Right. Because clearly, I was the inconsiderate one here. That was the moment I realized. I hadn't been forgotten. I'd been erased. I didn't respond to Dad's message. Not right away. What was I supposed to say? Congrats on the stealth wedding. Love the part where you all acted like I was a myth? No thanks. Instead, I went back to the photos. Like an idiot. Zoomed in. Noticed the details. My mom's necklace, the one she said she was saving for something special. It was around her neck as she posed beside Natalie. My dad, holding up a glass of wine, mid-toast, standing in front of the newly renovated dock I was once told was too unsafe to use. Safe enough for a wedding reception, apparently. I started remembering things. All the little red flags I had ignored. Like how last Christmas, I offered to host, and everyone said travel was too tricky this year. Then I saw a group photo on Facebook. Eli's place, festive as hell, everyone in matching pajamas. Not even a sorry we missed you. Just radio silence. Or 2 years ago, when Eli mentioned he was thinking about proposing to some girl. Wouldn't say who. Said it was early days. Mom had practically cut him off mid-sentence, like he'd accidentally said Voldemort. Now I know why. Back then, I thought it was just miscommunication. Life. Everyone busy. But no, this was a pattern. A deliberate one. Because this wasn't about forgetting to send an invite. This was about choosing not to. And the worst part? Natalie, my ex. The one I dated for almost 4 years. The one who said she needed space and wasn't ready for something serious. I remember crying like a moron on my own damn birthday when she walked out. And there she was, tucked under Eli's arm like she'd never left. Bridesmaid dress. Laughing with my mom. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long this had been going on. How many family dinners had ended with, "Oh, let's not tell Mason, he wouldn't understand." By morning, my appetite was gone, but my curiosity was ravenous. So I started digging. I wasn't hunting for drama. Not at first. I told myself it was just closure I needed. Answers. A timeline. But let's be honest. That's a lie we tell ourselves so we don't feel petty while snooping. First stop? My email. Years ago, I helped my dad set up a shared Google account for managing family stuff. Vacation rentals, tax docs, bills, the lake house calendar. I figured they'd lock me out by now, but nope. Still had access. Rookie mistake. The lake house had a separate spreadsheet, renovation logs, vendor invoices, contractor payments. I clicked through casually at first, then saw the dates. 2 months before the wedding. $9,100. Landscaping. $6,700, tent and event rentals. $3,200, floral design. $2,800, dock restoration. $1,400, string lighting install. All marked wedding prep. I blinked. My name was still listed on the shared trust account that paid for it all, which meant legally, they used my money to fund a wedding I wasn't even invited to. I slammed my laptop shut like it was going to burn me. Then I opened it again, downloaded everything. Every invoice, every shared doc. Forwarded it to myself. Created a backup. I was too furious to breathe properly, but I was also weirdly calm, focused. And that's when I made the next call. Rachel, lawyer, former neighbor. The one who helped me set up my LLC when I first went freelance. She picked up on the second ring. Mason? Wow, it's been years. What's up? I told her. The whole mess. Skipped the emotional parts. Stuck to facts. Family trust. Shared property. Unauthorized expenses. She went quiet for a beat. Then, okay. First, I'm sorry. Second, this is a massive breach of fiduciary agreement. Third, do you want to sue or scorch the earth? I laughed. Like, full-on laugh for the first time in weeks. Neither, I said. Not yet. What I wanted was leverage. Leverage looked like this: a quiet audit request to the family trust accountant, a few carefully worded emails about reviewing shared expenses, and a consultation with a property appraiser for the lake house. All of it under the radar. Nothing loud. Nothing dramatic. Just pressure. The accountant emailed back 3 days later. Hi Mason, the audit is underway. Just to confirm, you are still listed as a 1/3 beneficiary on the lake property per the trust agreement last amended in 2018. If that's changed, I don't have updated documentation. It hadn't changed, which meant every dollar that went into that wedding from that account. 1/3 mine. I wasn't sure what I wanted yet. Money back, an apology, the lake house keys in my hand, and everyone else evicted on principle. But I knew this. They didn't expect me to fight back. They expected me to do what I'd always done. Laugh it off, swallow the hurt, stay quiet to keep the peace. Not this time. I decided to test the waters. I invited my cousin Emma out for lunch. She's Switzerland in our family, neutral, quiet, allergic to drama. Over tacos and iced tea, I dropped it casually. So, how long have Eli and Natalie been a thing? Her face froze mid-bite. You didn't know? I said nothing. I thought, oh my God. Mason, I'm so sorry. I figured you. I mean, they showed up together to Grandma's birthday last year. Everyone thought it was weird, but your mom said you were cool with it. Of course she did. Emma reached across the table. I swear I would have said something if I knew. That's messed up. You deserve better than that. She meant it. And hearing someone say it out loud cracked something open in me. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. I'd been erased. On purpose. That night, I wrote a letter. Not to them. To myself. One line. You don't have to be included by people who enjoy excluding you. I taped it to my fridge, just in case I needed the reminder. The audit came back the following week, and it was worse than I thought. Total spent from the shared trust account over the past 12 months. $41,300, wedding and venue expenses. $17,800, dock and deck upgrades. $6,400, painting, landscaping, and cleanup. $2,600, generator rental for lighting. $1,900, champagne and catering overages. None of these had been approved by me. No email. No text. No polite. Hey, Mason, we're thinking of throwing a giant fairy tale event at the property your name is legally attached to. I sent it all to Rachel. She called me the next day, practically fuming. Mason, this isn't just inconsiderate. It's financial misconduct. If this went to court, you'd win. Easy. But I know you said you didn't want drama. So let's go subtle. We drafted a letter. Calm, professional, laced with sharp truth. I was formally requesting reimbursement for 1/3 of all unauthorized trust account expenses and proposing one of two options. Buy out my share of the lake house at market value. Agree to list the property for sale and split proceeds. I didn't want revenge. I wanted respect. Or silence, preferably backed by a wire transfer. A week later, Mom called. She didn't sound furious. She sounded betrayed, which was ironic. Mason, she sighed. We just got your letter. Is this really necessary? Yes. We were hoping to keep this civil. So was I? That ship sailed when you spent 40 grand of my money and didn't invite me to the party. Silence. You're not being reasonable. No, I said. I'm being legal. She tried the guilt route. Said Eli was devastated and Natalie didn't mean for things to go this way. She even said, "You've always been the strong one, the forgiving one." Exactly. That was the problem. I ended the call before she could weaponize one more compliment. Then I poured a drink and opened Zillow. If they didn't pay up, I was selling that house out from under them. They thought I was bluffing. A week passed. Then two. Then I got an email, through a lawyer, of course. They were willing to offer $140,000 for my third of the lake house. Market value? Closer to $480,000. Insulting. I replied with a formal valuation, the audit, and a copy of the trust agreement. Then added one polite sentence. Unless an agreement is reached within 30 days, I'll proceed with petitioning for a court-ordered sale. Within 48 hours, Eli called. "Mason, man, come on. This is nuts." "Is it?" "We didn't mean to leave you out. It just got complicated. And you and Natalie were done. That didn't give you the right to erase me." He sighed. "It wasn't personal. You married my ex in our family's backyard using my money. Please explain how that's not personal." "I thought you wouldn't want to come. You decided that for me." There was a long pause. "We can't afford a buyout," he said finally. "Then I'll see you in court." That's when the tone shifted. The lawyer got nastier. Mom started leaving voicemails pretending nothing was wrong, like we were overdue for coffee and not in a full-blown property dispute. Dad sent a weird text about how families have rough patches, but blood is blood. And Natalie? She'd met me. Just one line. "I didn't know how to tell you. I'm sorry." I blocked her. Not because I was angry, but because peace doesn't include people who only reach out when the fallout hits them. Rachel filed the petition on a Monday. By Wednesday, the listing was live. Charming 5-bedroom lakefront property. Ideal for events or quiet escapes. Dock newly restored. Flexible closing. There, in photo 27, Eli and Natalie's wedding arch smack in the middle of the lawn. Still faintly glittering. I laughed when I saw it. Not because it was funny, because it was finally real. The offers came fast. Turns out, lakefront property with a freshly renovated dock and built-in event layout? Catnip for wealthy weekenders and burnout CEOs. Within 3 weeks, we had 5 offers, 3 over asking. My lawyer, Rachel, kept me updated with relish. "They're panicking," she said during our weekly call. "Trying to delay the sale with every emotional excuse in the book." I pictured my mom sighing dramatically into a handkerchief while muttering about family legacy. I didn't care. I'd played my part for years, dutiful son, quiet brother, supportive ex. Now I was the co-owner cashing in on the wedding venue they never thought I'd notice. And when the sale closed, $973,000. After fees, taxes, and the dust of betrayal settled, my cut hit the account. $474,000. Clean. Untouchable. Mine. I sat on my balcony with a glass of red wine and a spreadsheet open. Then I posted a single message on Facebook. Funny how setting a boundary is called being dramatic until you invoice them for the drama. Anyway, thanks for the dock upgrade. It got 86 likes, 19 comments, and one direct message from my cousin Jason that just said, "Damn. Respect." 3 days later, Eli left a voicemail. "Mason, look, this got out of hand. We didn't expect it to cost so much. Please, can we talk?" No, because here's the thing about people who treat you like you're disposable. They don't expect the bill. They expect you to stay quiet, to play nice, to swallow your pain and call it peace. But I was done being their silent partner. I wasn't part of their story anymore. I was the footnote they forgot would lawyer up. I used the money to buy a 2-bedroom condo across the river. Big windows, brick walls. One of those kitchens with matte black cabinets that makes you feel like you're always hosting a cooking show. First night there, I stood barefoot on the balcony, sipping coffee, watching the city breathe. No noise from upstairs neighbors. No passive-aggressive texts. No emotional landmines. Just stillness. Taylor's startup kept growing. My work meant something again. I hired a junior dev, started mentoring her. She reminded me of me, hungry, quiet, sharp. It felt good to build something real. I reconnected with old friends. Started going to trivia nights again. I even started dating. Not like before, chasing meaning too fast, but with ease. With boundaries. With my eyes open, I never called Eli back. Natalie reached out once more, through a mutual friend, asking if I'd ever be open to a real conversation. I left her on read. Closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. As for my parents, I got a Christmas card from them that year. No handwritten message. Just their names printed in glitter ink and a photo of them in front of a different lake house, probably a rental. I didn't send one back. Because here's what no one tells you about being the forgotten one, the reliable one, the afterthought. Once you realize the room is colder because you're not in it, you stop apologizing for stepping out. I wasn't the backup anymore. I was the boundary. And this time, I kept the key. The fallout from the house sale didn't hit them all at once. That's the thing. Consequences have a drip effect. First, the awkward explanations. To neighbors, to extended family, to co-workers who asked, "Didn't your wedding happen there?" Then came the financial reality. Turns out, Eli and Natalie had taken out a sizable personal loan assuming the lake house would bring in income from rentals and events. They'd even pitched it to a few local wedding planners as a boutique venue. There was a branded website, full-color brochure, a styled photo shoot using their actual wedding. Gone. All of it. I heard from Meredith that Natalie's parents had to help them cover the first 2 payments. They sold Eli's car, moved out of the condo, and back in with my parents. I didn't smile when I heard it, but I also didn't feel bad. You don't burn bridges and then ask for a ride. As for me, I didn't gloat, didn't post a follow-up, just kept building. Taylor's startup had just hit its first $1 million valuation. We were onboarding 2 new engineers, and I was leading the tech team. My name was on the patent filing for the platform's predictive scheduling module. I bought a new espresso machine. Silly detail, I know, but it felt like a milestone. A little voice in my head whispered, "You bought this with peace." And for once, I believed it. Around mid-December, I got an unexpected package. No return address, just my name scrawled in familiar, careful handwriting. Inside, a small wooden box. Inside the box, a silver key. And underneath it, a folded note in my mother's handwriting. "This was always yours too. Love, Mom." That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just a symbolic gesture mailed weeks too late, long after the locks had been changed, figuratively and literally. I stared at the key for a long time. Then I laughed. This short, hollow, "you've got to be kidding me" kind of laugh. They thought this fixed it. That a key could replace years of silence, erasure, betrayal. That I'd hold it in my hand and think, "Oh wow, they do love me after all." But I wasn't that guy anymore. I didn't need a key to a house that was sold. I didn't need permission to belong in a family that chose to celebrate without me. And I sure as hell didn't need a souvenir from the very people who spent a year pretending I didn't exist. I mailed it back. No note. No drama. Just the key. Let them wonder what it meant. New Year's Eve came quietly. No parties. No dramatic midnight countdown. Just me, a glass of Pinot Noir, and a Spotify playlist I hadn't touched in months. Devin texted me around 11:30. Something about a rooftop party with too many people and not enough decent beer. I wished him luck and stayed in. At midnight, I stood on my balcony, watching fireworks bloom above the skyline. I didn't make a wish. Didn't make a resolution either. I just stood there, thinking about how a year ago, I was invisible to the people I'd spent my whole life trying to impress. And now, I didn't even miss them. Not the version they gave me. Anyway, that same week, I got a message from Taylor. "We want to bring you on as CTO. Let's talk equity." I stared at my screen for a solid 2 minutes. Chief Technology Officer. It was everything I'd worked for, and none of it had anything to do with Eli or Natalie or my parents. It was built on the back of late nights, clean code, therapy sessions, and boundaries no one expected me to hold. I replied, "Let's do it." Then I got up, made coffee, and opened a fresh doc titled Q1 Roadmap, Stability at Scale. Because maybe that's what healing looked like. Not a big dramatic ending, just a quiet shift. The sound of your own life clicking into place without needing anyone's approval. Spring rolled in like an exhale. Mornings were slower, brighter. My condo felt less like a bunker and more like home. I bought new furniture. Nothing fancy, just stuff that didn't come from clearance aisles or Craigslist. I even hung up real art. A local photographer's moody lake shots. Funny, right? Sometimes I still thought about the lake house. Not with pain, just a strange, detached curiosity. Like remembering a town you used to live in, but couldn't quite picture the street names anymore. Eli never called again. Neither did Natalie. My parents sent a birthday card in April. It was generic. Signed only Mom and Dad. No message. I didn't reply. Not out of spite. I just didn't have anything left to say. And that was the real ending. Not a confrontation, not a final tearful scene. Just stillness. Distance. A boundary that no longer needed defending. The startup took off. We landed series of funding. I stepped into my new role as CTO with a team that respected me, not because I kept the peace, but because I built something that mattered. And one night, after a long day of sprint reviews and debugging chaos, I sat on my balcony with Devin. He asked, "If you could go back, would you change anything?" I thought about it. About the betrayal, the photos, the key in the box, the quiet rage that built a new version of me. And I said, no, because I wouldn't have ended up here. He raised his glass. To here. And we clinked glasses. Because this was it. No apologies. No fake reunions. No re-earning a seat at their table. I built my own. And this time, I kept the only key.